All right, let's see what we have. Who's got A as an alpha? Charlie's here. Charlie in it. Nicholas, all by yourself. I like it. I like a brave man. C as in Caroline. Charlie, you gonna raise your hand?
I'm going to go out of order.
I know who it's on, Charlie. You didn't have to. B as in broccoli. Uh-oh. Nicholas against the world. Why did you take A?
Because I forgot how to get to M caused by economic growth, and it was
Right. Okay. M is unattainable, right? With present day resources. So it's B as in broccoli. Okay. What can we say about J and F?
Like J would like produce more capital goods because those parts of these will end efficient. So it's all efficient.
All right. So they're both inefficient, right? Unemployment, stuff like that. As far as efficiency, are N and R equal?
Yes.
Yeah. But we wanted to do more capital goods for future economic growth. Because that's machine tools, factories, that's better than having a lot of shirts for future economic growth. All right, shifter of the production possibilities curve.
Quality of resources.
Quality of resources. Technology.
Human resources.
C word. Capital sign. Okay, great. All right. All right, Charlie, you're in charge.
That's rather than defense. Yeah, I mean, the fire sun is weird. Did you have that thesis out?
Did you take a long time to come up with that prep?
Yeah.
It seemed like very thoughtful. Okay. All right. The FRQ tomorrow could be on the production possibilities curve or comparative advantage. You have an FRQ on production possibilities curve. You have a couple of FRQs on comparative advantage. I would just look over them. Try to get that trade thing down. If you haven't, the best possible. I am free tomorrow. Periods 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. So if one of those matches up with you and you don't feel good, send me an email. Yes, Charlie.
Yeah, photos like screen.
Yeah. You might have taken a picture of it already, though.
Is this the one? I think so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's that. All right, just bring the line paper. I put the section on it. You're just gonna only have to put the name. All right. If I was studying, I just make sure my phone's in the other room. Felix, do you hit the ball further with the wind to your back or the wind to your face? Okay. Putting the phone in the other room is like having the wind to your back. Just take that wind to your back. Make life easier for yourself, not harder. I look over my notes, I do the practice test, I review the FRQs we did in class. Okay. I don't think the FRQs could be tricky. And sometimes they are tricky because we've done the tricks. The trick is the trade. So I think the FRQ will be straightforward. If you're still unsure of the trade when you walk into the test, you just don't have it. Just make sure you answer everything else and then go and do the trade question. Don't sit there for 10 minutes trying to figure that out and then cost yourself time to figure out the rest. You're going to get 15 minutes. I've been giving you 6 in class. So it's going to seem like you're going to have enough time.
It's 3 FRQs.
Tomorrow? Tomorrow?
Monday.
No. Tomorrow's 1 FRQ.
What?
1 FRQ.
Whoa.
All right, line to use that you're never here on time. Maybe I'll give you an extra one.
I could do that.
1 Okay, it's like the ones we've been doing, one of them, 15 minutes.
That's it.
That's it. Monday is 30 multiple choice. Yes, sir.
The FRP is like, it has like multiple parts to it.
Like we've been doing, the A, B, C, D, and I'll probably go from A to E or A to D. Usually on the FRQs, time is not a problem. Sometimes in the multiple choice, it is. I would say the same thing in the multiple choice. If you don't know something, skip and come back. Okay, because you don't want to be guessing at the end, because they might be easy questions. All right. So here was the two feedbacks. I mean, if there's something someone said about learning, it was, I still don't know about the trade. And could have we done more practice? I think we did practice the last 2 days. Like, I mean, there was no new learning. So, I mean, that's all the practice kind of we could put in. I just continue to go over. People suggested to put the unit on the note, like this is unit 1. I'll do that. I'll also try to do the chapter. Like you could refer to chapter 3 if, you know. And then someone said, we do the feedback once a week instead online instead of paper. I've done the feedback online. Students just don't do it. You know, and it's not every class, so that's why I do it. And I would do it like online. Doing it online is easier for me because I computerize, it does all the thing, but then I got to get you to take out your phones and it just takes longer. All right, we're ready for the outline. Straight review today. Circular flow. Charlie, there's not going to be any questions on this test. We'll study circular flow for the midterm. We're done. Okay, great. Circular flow is fun. All right, economics defined. This is the bottom is what you should know. Study of how individuals in society deal with scarcity. Study of how individuals and society deal with scarcity. Sometimes we'll say scarce resources. All right, scarcity. I'm gonna like rephrase this. Unlimited wants with limited resources. Unlimited wants with limited resources. Okay, every day, by the way, on the feedback sheet, someone says I need to be louder. Really? It's a joke? Does it look like I have a sense of humor? I'm like 70 years old. I don't know how to laugh. Lucky I could breathe. There it is. I'm happy. All right, here's my favorite scarcity picture. Not enough love for everyone. I think I once blogged, the world needs more love. Okay, all right, we're done with scarcity. All right, society needs to answer these 3 economic, every society. What goods and services should be produced? How should these goods and services be produced? And who consumes them? In the United States, firms and households decide this. In China, the government decides it. But every economic, every society answers these. It just depends, based on the economic system, who is answering the question. Is everyone good? Okay. All right, trade-offs. Remember, because this is something that people got confused. Trade-offs are all the alternatives we give up when we make a decision. So you deciding to sit in this class, you've given up being in the commons, you've given up eating, you've given up staying at home sleeping, you've given up hanging out with your friends, you've given up gaming. Those are all trade-offs. Sleeping might be your opportunity cost because that's the next best alternative. Yeah, trade-offs, all the alternatives, opportunity cost, the most desirable. There's six, I think that I said 6 questions on opportunity cost. All right. We're good? Okay. All right, the invisible hand. I think the bet here, forget that. I go competition and self-interest act as an invisible hand that regulates the free markets. Competition and self-interest acts as an invisible hand that regulates the market. So what does that mean? Are you raising your hand to answer a question?
Yeah, the question is,
Go.
if you invent a machine, somebody's always gonna try and up you to make that machine quicker, faster, so there's a competition.
Right. And then you're gonna try to make a new machine, right? And that constant competition drives the market to get the best quality at the lowest price. Obviously, there's no competition for the sage, so they give you crappy food at expensive price. Yeah. I got a great house competition thing, Charlie. Which house could not eat at the sage for a week?
Also get sage, maybe stop the price a little bit.
What?
Good, fish going against sage. I like it.
Me too. Was Mr. Ford here when you guys were in school? When he was student council president, he led a boycott against the sage.
Really?
Yeah, it lasted like 2 hours. Like everyone was supposed to bring in peanut butter and jelly and not eat. And like, so for one, like say period 2, no one ate there, and then people just gave it. All right, these two are never the answer, but they're sometimes in a question. So I wanted you to know what it is. Laissez-faire, hands-off business. All right. If you think about political system, Republicans are more laissez-faire, more hands-off. Democrats, more government needs to help. Ceteris paribus, everything else stays the same. So a change in technology we shift the curve because we're assuming everything else stays the same. There's no other factor. Okay? And we all know there's a million factors, but so when we do the problems, we use this. Sometimes they throw these in questions. Again, it'll never be the answer. Okay? All right, micro households and firms. Snapshot. Macro, the whole economy. When we're saying the inflation in the United States, macro. When we're saying unemployment in the United States, macro. When we're saying the corn industry, micro. So we're just talking about an industry. All right, positive and normative statements. Sometimes could be confusing. Positive facts. Your GPA is a fact. How you got that GPA, we could argue. That would be normal. If your GPA is 4.0, we could say you're smart, you study hard, you had great teachers, we have great inflation. All those things are normative opinions, value judgments. Unemployment is 3% is a fact. Congress's economic policies are the reason. That's a value judgment.
Of value.
Huh?
Action.
We have too many old people running the country. We need younger people. It's interesting that an old person would think that, but all right, marginal analysis, marginal, additional. All right. Save you some writing. Marginal analysis, marginal benefit got to be greater or equal to marginal cost. That's marginal analysis. Marginal benefit has to be greater or equal to marginal cost. Barack is really hungry. He goes into the sage, a very sad moment in his life. But marginal benefit is greater or equal to marginal cost. So Barack goes into the sage, he's starving, he's willing to pay $10 for lunch. The sage lunch is a measly $9.50. He buys it. The next day he's had a good breakfast. He's not that hungry. He would only benefit from $5. Costs $9.50. He doesn't buy lunch then. All right. Felix, don't tell anyone else, but there'll be a question exactly like this tomorrow, on Monday. Okay. Now, here's what they're going to ask you: like, what is the marginal utility of the third candy bar? All right. Whenever I'm figuring marginal utility, third candy bar, 90 minus 70 gives me 20. All right. I just take the candy bar they're asking and minus the one before. All right. So this could be like this exact. So everyone should get this right, because I'm telling you it's going to be on it. All right. So for the fourth one, it'd be 100 minus 90 is 10.
Oh, the utility cost.
Yeah, which is satisfactory.
What about for the fifth one? You said -1.
Yeah. Or if they really get like freaking tricky, they could say which one has the highest marginal utility. One, right? 40 minus 0 is 40, 30, 20. Yeah. Okay. We got this one right. Everyone's got at least one right. Okay. I'd say multiple choice. My guess is there's a handful of hundreds. There'll be a lot. Well, I won't say a lot, but there'll probably be a lot of hundreds on the upper tier. All right, factors of production. There's only one question, but we might as well get it right because there's not much here to know. Remember, land, natural resources. Capital. Tools, machines, factories. Labor, kind of what it is, workers. Okay, and then entrepreneurs, people who start businesses to solve problems. People who start businesses to solve problems. Okay, those are the four factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurs. Okay, I'll just leave this here for a second. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, 13 questions. Man, we got to know everything to know about production possibilities curves. A, B, C, D, and E. All are efficient, equally efficient, just efficient. That's it. Now, usually when they ask you about economic growth, they have capital and consumers. But if they ask about economic growth here, I'd rather have computers over bikes. All right, but I don't think they'll do that. A, B, C, D, E, all. Anything inside, inefficient unemployment. It's not a shifter to go from inside to the curve. It's just employing people. Okay. And anything outside is unattainable with present day resources. Any shift of the curve outward is economic growth. And anytime they're saying economic growth, they mean in the future. So it's future economic growth. Any shiftward outward. Okay. Forward curve, we know. Opportunity cost of doing what? Increasing. Okay. All right. I don't know when I said 6 opportunity and 13. I don't know where I put a question like this, but we had a drill question like this, if you remember, where you had to figure out the opportunity cost, you know, for 2 different items. There'll be probably a question like this with numbers where you have to figure out the opportunity cost. Okay. So if you're going from A to B, you went from 14 bicycles to 2 computers cost you there 2 bikes. Okay. Are we all good on this? Okay. All right. All right. Just remember, constant opportunity cost. Resources are easily adaptable, and you're going to have a straight line. Comparative advantage problems are constant opportunity cost. Okay.
Say comparative advantage problems are
Constant.
all.
Yeah. So if they ask you, like tomorrow, if they're giving comparative advantage, and you know a couple of them have asked you to graph, right, in our practice, always do a straight line. Okay. And if they give you something like this, you could see 1 pizza cost me 1 calzone, the second pizza, 1 calzone, the third, so it's constant. It's a pretty crappy looking pizza, by the way. Looks like it was made at the Sage. Not enough pepperoni. All right. Increasing is as I say, make another pizza, it costs me more calzones. Okay, as you produce more of any good, the opportunity cost increases. So for the first robot, it's 1 pizza. For the second robot, it's 2 pizzas. For the third robot, it's 5 pizzas. For the fourth robot, it is 10. And the reason that happens is resources are not easily adaptable. And then you have your bowed out, or what do they call it? Concave curve. Okay. These numbers are really flat. Okay. Is everyone good here? Okay. Your paper only has 3 shifters, right? I took a blunder. Because each year I teach the shifters differently. But I go with 4. So change in resource quantity or quality. Change in technology. Change in human resource. Change in capital stock. So change in resource quantity or quality, change in technology, change in human resource, change in capital stock. Anytime it shifts outward, economic growth. Inward, economic slow down. Okay. Two types of efficiency. Productive, producing in the least costly way. That's any point on the curve. And I think we've had a drill question or an FRQ where they put you on the curve and they just ask you. That's productively efficient. What do you need, Mike?
Changing human resources.
Changing human resources. Okay. You got him? Okay. Allocative efficiency is producing what society desires. You cannot determine allocative efficiency on a production possibility exposure because it doesn't tell you what society wants.
And those two just like like in this segment. Equality versus efficient.
No. Because this isn't about quality. This is just what society wants. You're thinking equality. That would be giving everyone an A, which would hurt your efficiency. So they gave everyone an A. No one would be writing anything down right now, right? Except Sisto, because he loves to learn. Okay. Which way does this shift? Decrease in the demand for pizza. It doesn't. I put this up here just to remind you. If it's not one of the 4 shifters, it doesn't shift. Okay? So they could put something like this up. Just be wary of it. Okay? And then I think I have one more example. The mad cow, that's going to affect only pizza. So remember, the whole curve is not going to shift in. Okay? But that's a slowdown of economic growth because we shifted in. Okay? You okay, Connor? Okay. All right, international trade. Here we go. Comparative advantage. All right. Now, absolute advantage. The first thing, by the way, got to be able to figure out are they input or output problem. If you can't, assume their output, Because 9 out of the 10 are output. All right, but for an output, you're looking at which country produces the most. For an input, which country uses the least inputs. And if you remember, on the FRQs of the practice, when the input's up, some of us screw up the absolute advantage. Okay? You can have, one country can have the absolute advantage in both. You could have them in both. Comparative advantage, the producer with the lowest opportunity cost. Remember, woo! Output other over, meaning the other product. Input other under. Okay? Let's get 100 on these. You cannot have the, sorry.
When you do the other under, you're still looking for the lowest number.
You're always looking for the lowest opportunity cost. Are you just looking in, or you need something? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right. You specialize in what you have the comparative advantage in. Okay. You export what you have the comparative advantage in. Oh, let me pick that up.
Give an example of input output.
Yeah. Input time. Input number of workers. Output how many hats. Input acres. How much acres? Output how much corn.
So input is more resources.
Input is that, yes, that's very good. All right, I'm just doing a quick example here. Say this is an output problem. US for absolute, US versus Brazil, 30-10 US, 30-20 US. Absolute advantage, nothing to do with trade. Now, output the other product, 30 over, that's 1, 20 over, that's 2. We're always going with the least. US has it at least. Now, 1 week costs 1 sugar, 1 week costs 2 sugar. The US is going to trade wheat. They have to get more than 1 sugar, otherwise it's not worth it for them. Brazil is going to trade sugar. Usually they trade 2 sugars for 1 week. They got to trade less than 2 sugars to make the trade. Okay, worth it for them.
So anything in between.
Anything in between is good. Okay, straight lines, constant opportunity cost. All right, any questions on that? Okay. All right. You export what you specialize in, you import your weakness. You export what you specialize in, you import your weakness. Okay. Here's what you need to know about centrally planned. I didn't give you a spot, just use the line. Are there some lines at the end? Okay. So centrally planned. Government owns all the resources and government decides those 3 questions.
You're talking about 3 questions.
Yeah, and I put them up there, how much to produce. But if you don't want to copy them, it is the 3 questions from before. So you don't have to. All right. Think Cuba, China. North Korea. Yeah, but you know, the former Soviet Union, I'm the only one alive I'm the only one here who was alive. And then for our economy, what you just need to know is little government involvement, even though Republicans would argue that. They think government's too involved. Households own the factors of production, or households own the resources and the three economic life. And then the third thing is the ability to make profit gives people an incentive. Competition gives people an incentive. Okay. Does anyone have questions about anything in the world? Nothing in the world?
Yeah.
The world is that easy for you? Go.
What percent of Americans aren't working? Choose not to work.
3% are unemployed, but I would say probably 3% or 4% are not working. You know, not choosing to look for jobs. I'd like to be part of that 3 to 4%, not looking for a job and just retired and getting old. Well, I'm not getting old, I am old. Yes, sir.
You said when production slows down, that's when resources aren't adaptable, right? So
Say that again.
when like production slows down, resources aren't adaptable.
No, okay. Resources are not easily adaptable when you have increasing opportunity for it. Okay? When you're in here, you're just inefficient. When you're like this, that's economic slowdown. Okay. Okay? Anything else? All right, fill out your paper. Remember, I'm free tomorrow 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Work me to death. Just send me an email because I'm not going to just be like hanging out waiting for you.